Good morning students. Welcome to eSuvidya. Hope you all are fine and safe. Students, in the previous class we have completed the lesson Biju Patnaik and his Dakotas. Today I am summing up the theme of the lesson and we will also discuss some activities. Students, Biju Patnaik was a daredevil pilot, an unstoppable freedom fighter, 2 times Chief Minister of Odisha, Security Advisor to first Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Kingmaker of the Jamta Parivar, former Union Minister, Bhumiputra of Indonesia and founder of UNESCO Kalinga Award on Science. So, Biju Babu was a star for crores of Odias who was born in Odisha but made the entire nation proud. Biju Patnaik was a born daredevil and a risk taker. He would jump into action without thinking its consequences. So he was a symbol of courage, bravery and adventure, and this part of his nature has remained in his life as a pilot and a politician. So what the brave horse Chetak was to Rana Pratap, the Dakotas were same to Biju Patnaik. Students, how Biju Babu got his first Dakota was also a story of courage and adventure. So during that time, Biju Babu had started the Bhubaneswar Flying Club, and the Second World War has ended and lots of Dakotas were lying unused at the American Air Base or American Airport at Panagarh near Kolkata. And Biju Babu wanted to purchase a Dakota for his Bhubaneswar Flying Club. So he wanted to purchase a Dakota. So he was about to leave to Panagarh. So when suddenly his friends rose near him and told that a severe storm is developing, and they advised Biju Babu not to fly. But Biju Patnaik, a daredevil pilot, without paying any attention to this, he told that this is Biju's plane which flies during the storm. And he took up to Panagarh. With great difficulty, he repaired a Dakota and returned to Bhubaneswar. And most of his adventures are with his Dakota. So students, when in 1947 Pakistan attacked Kashmir, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru instructed Biju Babu to drop the first regiment of Indian soldiers at Kashmir. And Biju Babu was the first person to drop the first regiment of the Indian soldiers at the Srinagar airport and also supplied necessary things to the Indian army. So the same year, when Indonesia was witnessing an intense freedom struggle, and when the then Indonesian president Sukarno requested Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru for assistance, so Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru asked Biju Babu to come to their rescue or to come to their assistance. So Biju Babu flew to Indonesia on his Dakota, and he successfully rescued Prime Minister Muhammad Sahriar and Vice President Muhammad Hatta from Dutch captivity. So students, Biju Babu successfully flew to Indonesia and he successfully rescued the Indonesian Prime Minister Dr. Sahriar and Indonesian Vice President Muhammad Hatta from Dutch captivity. And in this successful mission, his wife Gyan Patnaik, who was also a pilot, accompanied him. And for this greatest contribution towards the Indonesian freedom struggle, the government of Indonesia awarded him with the award Bhumiputra, or son of the soil. Until that, a Dakota is kept in Indonesia the memory of Biju Babu. So not only this, Biju Babu was an unstoppable freedom fighter. So on his Dakota, he airdropped the leaflets for the Azad Hind Fauj, and during the Quit India movement, he ferried the frontline freedom fighters like Aruna Asaf Ali, Jai Prakash Narayan, Ram Manohar Lohia on his Dakota. And when this came to the knowledge of the British authorities, because at that time Biju Babu was working as a pilot with the British Royal Airlines. So with the British Royal Airlines, he was working as a pilot. So he ferried the frontline freedom fighters like, as we have discussed, Aruna Asaf Ali, Ram Manohar Lohia, Jai Prakash Narayan on his Dakota. This came to the knowledge of the British authorities. So he was suspended from his job and he was put behind the bars. So Biju Babu was an unstoppable freedom fighter and a daredevil pilot, and most of his adventures are on his Dakotas. Students, as we have discussed, he regarded his Dakotas as living beings. As Rana Pratap has a strong bond with his horse Chetak, so Biju Babu has a strong emotional attachment with his Dakotas, and he regarded his Dakotas as living beings. This was what mentioned by Mr. Dhir. Mr. Dhir is doing research work on Biju Babu and his Dakotas. And in one, Biju Babu has shared one of his experiences, one of his adventure stories with Mr. Dhir. So once Biju Babu was in the cockpit or in the pilot cabin of an aircraft of a Dakota. Then the ground staff, and he was about to fly, a ground staff rushed near Biju Babu and told that the aircraft, something is leaking, okay, something is leaking from the aircraft. So when the ground staff informed Biju Babu about the leaking substances, Biju Babu, without getting down from the cockpit, without getting bothered, sitting in the cockpit, he ordered the ground staff to bring some leaking substances. So when the ground staff brought some substances, then Biju Babu examined it, tested it, and after testing, he flew off. Probably he must have consulted with his Dakota, and his Dakota must have told nothing, let's fly. So this shows that Biju Babu has developed a strong bond with his Dakotas, and he has developed a strong emotional attachment with his Dakotas, and he regarded his Dakotas as living beings. Students, Biju Patnaik was a mass leader and a hero of many. Biju can never die. His indomitable spirit and desire to work relentlessly for the development of the state lives on today in the mind and heart of every young Odia. This makes the tall man Biju Patnaik immortal. Students, today we have completed the chapter Biju Patnaik and his Dakotas. You go through this chapter thoroughly and try to answer the comprehension questions and other activities based on the text. So students, let's go for some activities. So students, in your text, you must have noticed the word daredevil, and you must have also noticed the word risk taker. So two words are often joined to make one word. Two words are often joined to make one word. Every day, many such English words are made. Your lesson has two such words like daredevil and risk taker. So students, now let us frame new words from the pair of words given. Okay, let us frame new words from the pair of words given. So let's frame new words. Here two words are there, back and bench, and we have discussed two words that are often joined to make one word. Let's make one word by joining these two words. Back bencher. Then aunt it. It will be aunt eater. Jew keep. It will be Jew keeper. Then meat it. It will be meat eater. Then bread make. It will be bread maker. Then rice eat. It will be rice eater. So students, we have combined two words to frame a new word. Okay, backbench, it becomes backbencher, it becomes backbencher. Aunt eat, it becomes aunt eater. Jew keep, it becomes Jew keeper. Meat eat, it becomes meat eater. Bread make, it becomes bread maker. And rice eat, it becomes rice eater. Okay, so students, now we have joined the two words into one. So now write 6 sentences following the example. Okay, now let's write 6 sentences following the example. One example is given here, and in the same way we will form the other sentences. Students, you see here that back bench, he who sits on the backbench is a backbencher. Okay, so he who sits on the backbench is a backbencher. Like this, in the same way, let us frame the other sentences. Okay, in the same way, let's frame other sentences. He who eats ant. Okay, he who eats ant is an ant eater. Okay, so students, next what is Jew keeper? He who works as keeper of the Jew. He who works as keeper of the Jew is called a Jew keeper. It's called a Jew keeper. Is called a Jew keeper. Okay, so students, he who works as keeper of the Jew is called a Jew keeper. Like meat eater, he who eats meat is a meat eater. It's a meat eater. Like this, bread maker. Students, he who makes bread is a bread maker. Is a bread maker. And the last one is rice eater. He who eats rice, he who eats rice is a rice eater. Is a rice eater. Okay, so students, today we have completed this lesson, Biju Patnaik and his Dakotas. You learn this chapter thoroughly and try to answer the activities best on this chapter. Thank you. Have a nice day. See you in the next class.